Welcome to the Yellow Spider Media Business Spotlight podcast, a chance for business owners to discuss what they do and what makes them special. Today's guest is Matt Fleming, business owner and director of Fleming Co Wealth Management Ltd. Hi Matt, thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Hi John, good to talk to you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. So we'll get straight into it then, shall we? Can you describe what it is that your business does?
Yeah, we're an independent financial advice firm based in Warrington. We offer whole of market advice covering northwest of England, but we do have clients throughout the UK. We provide regulated financial advice, which is personal to each individual or business, and it's tailored for their own requirements.
Do you work alone or are you part of a larger organisation?
Yeah, kind of. I get the best of both worlds, really. I'm the director of my own limited company, so I get to drive the business forwards and manage my own clients and choose who to work with. We get to focus on providing advice that we think adds real value. And the priorities to me as a business owner is to make sure clients receive really clear advice and an exceptional service. So whether they're dealing with me or anyone associated with a company, the aim is to build that trust and to hopefully build a long-standing relationship. Building trust can take a long time, so I think it's crucial in our line of work, particularly in an industry which has had a fair share of sort of high-profile news stories over the years, to put it mildly. The company itself, Fleming Co Wealth Management, is an appointed representative of LJ Financial Planning, which is a large financial advice firm based in Warrington. LJ have been around since 2004 with over 100 financial advisors, so one of the largest chartered firms in the north of England, and they deal with your normal financial advice products, mortgages, equity release, pensions, investments, and they are a very strong, robust company with offices in Warrington that I often use. We have a great team of administration and para-planning staff we can use as advisors if we wish, so this support gives me a lot more time with my clients, so I can concentrate on providing the advice rather than dealing with administration tasks or other time-consuming parts of running the business.
And how long have you been part of LJ?
I've been with LJ now since 2012, and they've been brilliant, really. They share a similar outlook on how advice should be given to clients, and have assisted me in getting through my chartered qualifications, which has been particularly valuable to me and my clients. So I can't really praise them enough as a company to work with.
It's obvious that building trust is very important in your business and in any business, I suppose. Is there a particular onboarding process to help with that?
Yeah, I think understanding what your clients are really looking for is the real art to this profession. You might find a client that doesn't know exactly what they're looking for, or they might not be prepared to tell you. So if you've got a situation where you've only met 2 or 3 times and you might be implementing some very long-term financial planning, so it's really important to understand them, and more importantly what their goals and values are, and their priorities are really important. The advice is bespoke, so we follow a fairly strict process. We complete a review, or a fact find as we call it, which allows us to understand their financial position. And at the same time, the client will usually give away a lot of information, which we would describe as soft facts about what's really important to them. This onboarding process can be completed either online or by telephone, Zoom more recently, but we do prefer face-to-face meetings where possible, so it helps us to pick up on body language and facial expressions that people give away when discussing certain aspects of their finances. I do think it's really interesting the way that people's life experiences can have an impact on their views, and they might think about a certain strategy or a product in a certain way. And by getting to know people, you can understand why they might think that, and we can provide education where required to make sure that our recommendations are exactly in line with what they need.
Financial services is quite a broad term, so do you want to break down the different services within your business?
Yeah, so our advice we find is mainly to business professionals, senior management, or self-employed people, might be directors of a limited company. They might be saving towards retirement or just wanting to know how much they should be putting in, or might need help with tax. They might be close to retirement, so they're starting to look at options to retire, and they might be interested in how much they can draw from their accumulated assets. So people would normally contact us with one of the following in mind. So investment and retirement advice, often investing a sum of money, either a lump sum or saving regularly in a way that suits their own objectives and attitude to risk. Retirement advice is often about explaining advantages and disadvantages of pensions and other tax-efficient investments and deciding what changes can be made to meet the client's objectives. Life insurance, critical illness cover and income protection, so to help protect against unforeseen circumstances which can really seriously affect someone's future finances or plans. Finally, is part of the business which is not regulated by the financial conduct authorities, where we offer wills, lasting power of attorneys and trusts. We can carry these out for clients if required. We have access to step qualified will writers. Quite often clients have solicitor contacts, or in fact lasting power of attorneys can be completed by printing out forms online. So if a client feels comfortable going through that process, that's fine with us. Trusts are a really complex field, but we can help to achieve the client's objectives using trusts, or to either protect assets or help them pass through the generations in a tax efficient manner if this is important to the client.
And recently, have you found that you've provided a good mix of those services?
So recently, we've been setting up some life insurance, critical illness and income protection for an accountant actually who's just bought a property recently. So they decided that it was time to assess what they had in place already and plan for the future to make sure the correct cover's in place. I've also been dealing with a guy in his 30s who's self-employed, wasn't paying into a pension with an employer, so wanted to start something for himself. We've set it up as a monthly direct debit and the option to pay in lump sums each year if he wishes. And another client who has a number of pensions, wants them to be reviewed, possibly with a view to making sense of them all and calculating whether they're on target to achieve ambitions to retire at 60. We often help people to consolidate pensions where appropriate to help them understand figures, as obviously pensions can be extremely complex at times.
And before Fleming Co, what was your career experience? Have you got any stories to tell?
So I've worked in finance for just over 20 years now. Started off working in a call centre dealing with personal loans, credit cards, learning all about credit and the benefits and drawbacks of that. There's probably some stories I could tell you from there, but I won't go into that today.
Might be wise.
Moved on from there to become a mortgage advisor for a few years in 2007, working in estate agencies and then in a high street bank. And then after completing my diploma in financial services, moved into financial advice within a major high street bank, which was a great experience, but not something I wanted long term. So that continued till around 2012 when I was offered redundancy, which was a bit of a blessing in disguise at the time. I knew that I wanted to become an independent advisor, offering a wide range of products with access to the whole of the market, not just a few. So I set up as a sole trader, and several years later, as the business grew, set up Fleming Co Wealth Management. The business has grown from strength to strength and become a chartered advisor and a fellow of the Personal Finance Society over recent years through continued development and qualifications. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way the business has grown, and we are still busy even in these difficult times, which I think reflects well.
And how have the last 12 months been for you?
Wow, yeah, where to begin? I think, first of all, we have been really lucky that we've been able to continue to work, and business has been largely interrupted for us, which I'm incredibly grateful for. I've spoken to a number of friends, family and clients that have all had it particularly tough during this period, so I do really feel for those that have been seriously affected by the pandemic. Don't get me wrong, business for us has been slower, particularly in 2020, where people are more cautious when looking at long-term planning, but Just recently, as we've come into 2021, I think there's been a bit of an upturn in inquiries. As part of a larger network, they were particularly reactive to the pandemic. We were working remotely and the support staff were able to work from home within a matter of days, so the business was not interrupted in any way. As a financial advice firm, we are expected to have contingency plans in place, so we have to be able to continue to provide a service to our clients, but the process itself was more seamless than I might have expected.
And a lot of things moved online.
Business mostly moved online, with almost everything being completed using online forms and digital signatures. Meetings have been held remotely. So overall, happy that the business has been able to continue and that I've had an element of normality during this period.
Well, I suppose we're lucky we now live in an age where that's possible. So has digital marketing become more important for you? And if so, what elements do you use?
To be honest, it's not been a critical part of my business so far. I've not included maybe as many elements as I would like. We do use regular emails to existing clients to provide them with updates and financial news they might find interesting. So it might serve as a reminder to them for any queries they might have, but I've not really got too involved with social media from a business perspective. Although to me, I think going forward, the benefits are difficult to ignore. The regulatory side to our profession means content has to be really carefully managed. So this in itself can mean information has to be quite generic, which can be difficult if someone's trying to create engaging content. So I think it's something that I'm interested in, although I've not really got too involved with it just yet.
So you're relying more on traditional methods?
Yeah, I'm really proud that the business so far has been built from referrals and recommendations, and they remain the main source of new clients for me. I do think digital marketing is increasingly important for financial advisors. So for me, this podcast was a good way to try something new, definitely outside of my comfort zone. I think this format allows me to explain a bit about what I do and perhaps break down some barriers between people that might be thinking about getting advice and give them the confidence to pick up the phone or send an email with any questions they might have.
Exactly. That's what a podcast can do. It can help you get your message out there. Do you think there'll be a change in your marketing strategy then?
I think companies that have been active with digital marketing are starting to make progress. So more and more clients are using Google or Facebook to find an advisor. And I think more clients now want to research their advisor as much as they can before they make contact. So they might be using social media or visiting a website before they make contact or before they think about speaking to the advisor. That's my view, and this podcast will hopefully become part of a wider strategy to allow clients more of an insight into how we operate and our approach to financial advice.
If you were to give one piece of advice to potential clients, what would that be?
Take the time to review what you have and make a plan. Sit down, make a list of what you have in place now. Look at your income and your outgoings. If you have a partner, husband or wife, do it together. Make sure you understand what you have in place and does it match what you want? Do you appear to be on track for your future plans? Do you have any plans? If it all seems a little confusing or you simply don't have the time, consider getting advice from a professional. It might not be from me. You might need to see a few advisors to make sure you like the person that you're dealing with, but try not to put it off. Financial security is often at the bottom of a long list of tasks that people have in their busy lives, and I do understand that, but it can provide real peace of mind that your affairs are in order. So don't procrastinate, get it done today.
I love that. If you've not done it, just get it done today. I was told when I was 19 to deal with pensions and things, and I just ignored it and put it off. So if anybody's listening that hasn't started, get in touch with a financial advisor. And if you think that person could be Matt, where can we get in touch with you?
The details can be found on our website, which is www.flemingwealth.co.uk, or they can email me directly, matt.fleming@flemingwealth.co.uk.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of the podcast. Thanks again for coming on and being a guest.
Great. Thanks for having me, John. Good to talk to you.
Fleming Co is an appointed representative of LJ Financial Planning Limited, which is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Thanks for listening to the Yellow Spider Media Business Spotlight podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please get in touch at www.yellowspidermedia.com.